Hey everybody, it's Brandon Anders, and on this episode of Wine Whoopee, I'm going to the very first LEED certified vineyard in the Finger Lakes, as well as a winery that is crafting some of the best cool climate Pinot Noirs in all of the US. Take this journey with me, you will not be disappointed. Cheers. I'm at Red Tail Ridge Winery, where the owners value sustainability, as well as being the very first LEED certified winery in the Finger Lakes. I'm here with Daniela DeDuro, the tasting room manager here at the scenic Red Tail Ridge Winery. So what can you tell me a little bit about this vineyard that we're standing in right now?
So I think the important thing for the Finger Lakes in general is to kind of talk about the makeup of it. First and foremost, this was all created from the glacier breakup, which created a lot of different subsoils, which made viticulture so interesting here. If you taste a Riesling from us here at Red Tail Ridge, and then you go and taste a Riesling from a different winery down the road that's grown on a different soil, they're gonna taste different. This is actually one of the largest, deepest lakes in the US. Seneca Lake is somewhere around 635 feet deep, so it doesn't freeze. Creating its own little microclimate here on the Finger Lakes, you can kind of push in that cold air, which we're kind of feeling the breeze come up through from the lake right now. In the reverse, at the late fall time, that's pushing up the warmth into the vineyard when sometimes we kind of dip down a little bit colder. So it's about a degree warmer around the lake, which is why you see so many wineries clustered around Seneca Lake here.
Do you find that the Rieslings here have a lot of similarities to like the Mosel and Alsace?
We're most similar to like the Rhine region in Germany, if you compare us on a European scale. Here, I think you find a lot of really racy acid structures to the Rieslings, which makes it really interesting. And you have these wines that are crisp and refreshing and really showcase where they're grown. So I would say we're not Germany, we're the Finger Lakes. You can taste a Finger Lakes Riesling and say that's a Finger Lakes Riesling.
Your sparkling program is kind of the passion project here.
So many people classify sparkling wine as something you drink New Year's Eve and the holidays and graduations and stuff. You can drink a sparkling wine on a Tuesday night. It's a wine that shouldn't be safe for just special occasions. And sparkling is so important for this region because that was one of the first things that actually came out of this region from native varietals. If you notice our vineyard structure too, a lot of the vines are actually the same as Champagne region, where we have the multiple trunks as a security blanket here. This way, if we do have any damage, we have a backup one here. So it mimics the Champagne region too. So another reason why sparkling makes so much sense here.
Wow, that's amazing. So if one fails, you have another one to protect it.
Exactly.
What is your favorite wine to drink?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
You have to pick Riesling. So dry Riesling, a lot of the dry Riesling from our area has more of like this guava feel to it. Really interesting.
I would have to agree with you.
We are the first LEED Gold certified winery in New York State, which is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. We run on geothermal energy. So you want to take a look inside?
Yeah, absolutely.
These drain tiles actually collect any of the wastewater that we're using for cleaning to kind of recycle that water for us. Another thing you're going to notice, which you don't see in most wineries, is all this beautiful bright light we have coming in. That is treated glass that has a mix of gases in the middle of them that lets in all the beautiful light but doesn't let in the heat, which is what we don't want in a winery. Right now what we have in here too, you're going to see some bubbles. So here we have them. We do this all by hand. The goal is to get this dead yeast to come down to the head of the bottle here. That way it creates like a cap, and then we will disgorge it. So we do have this little tactic here to kind of know where the bottle is, and you're slowly going to be turning this twice a day here. This is riddling.
Riddling.
Yeah, so you're riddling the wine, and this is a riddling rack. So this is an ancient way of doing it. They've done this in Champagne area for years, and some people's job was just to be a riddler, and that was their life. people are coming to the Finger Lakes and realizing this is a serious wine region. We're always trying to seek more. I don't think there's ever a moment where you're like, all right, I'm good, I'm satisfied. No, you're trying to push the envelope, you're trying to learn more, you're trying to create something that's memorable. Welcome to the tasting room here. So we were standing in the Chardonnay here, so I think it's important to kind of taste where we were standing, which would be our barrel fermented Chardonnay. Right now our oak program, we're kind of gravitating towards Hungarian oak and French oak.
There's like a minty nose to it, like wintergreen.
It does have a little bit more herbaceous to this too, which a lot of times, sometimes when Chardonnay is kind of over oaked, you don't get all those subtle notes. So by doing a lighter oak program, you get some more of the minerality, some of the savory notes, stuff that you wouldn't pick up when you're just tasting oak.
Very clean.
Super fresh. We are talking Riesling because we are in the Finger Lakes. Yeah. So shall we dive into Riesling?
Absolutely.
So now we're gonna move into our standard dry Riesling. This is gonna be from 2016.
So this is from 16?
This is. So this is gonna be from a blend of a few of our blocks back here. We do have 14 acres of Riesling, which is the most widely planted variety of our entire vineyard site.
What kinds of stones are beneath the Riesling, and even in general, just all
Yeah, so the whole
vineyards?
vineyard site itself, we do have some slate, which you'll see is that rock that really kind of breaks pretty easily. We also have a lot of siltstone, which is gonna be some of the rocks that are kind of formed from compressed mud over time. Those are the fun ones too, where we'll find a lot of fossils, because before this was the Finger Lakes, when it was an ocean at one point, that deposited some things in the rocks that we'll find.
It's a big rock.
It's a little heavy, but here you can really see all the different stuff that we could come up with. These are like these perfect little circle ones here. These are called chronoids, I believe they are, and that was something that was found underwater. And then these are like seashells.
So there's like little life forms they were once.
And captured here now.
Yeah. Wow. And sometimes you can find that in the wine a little bit too. You know, just that it comes off as a mineral note.
A mineral influence, absolutely. Yep. So this would be probably our most mineral-driven Riesling that we have right now too. Age helps that out quite a bit too.
And this is from what year?
2013.
2013. Just want to like take a piece of that rock and put it in my glass.
And that's the thing too, a lot of people with mineral notes wonder if you taste rocks. Some people do. Some people lick the rocks to taste them, but a lot of it is actually smell. Classic example that a lot of people can relate to is on a gravel road, right after it rains, it's that smell that comes off the stones.
Okay. This looks like a good word.
I can't tell you what's on that rock.
Yeah.
We do have dogs as an FYI too. Sometimes they like to mark territory.
It's content. All right. If I'm not here tomorrow, it's your fault. Oh, that's lovely. God. As anybody with anxiety will tell you, it never leaves you, but it's not who you are. It's just a part of you. Looking back on it now and seeing how far I've come, being in the wine industry, it's been such a positive influence on my life because I've met so many great people who too actually had anxiety too. And you know, life is, it's definitely full of I don't knows, but it's also full of moments where you don't have to know everything. And that's something to be appreciated. entering Pinot Noir country. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Brandon.
How are you?
I'm well. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. I hear you're pouring some amazing Pinots here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to showing you around today and showing you some of the new wines.
Awesome.
We specialize in Pinot Noir and Riesling. We're a small producer, and we've been making wine here since 2006. So this is our Polarity, and this is 100% Pinot, but it is treated a little bit differently, and you'll see why immediately when I pour it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a little bit of kind of a golden amber in color, and it has been pressed as quickly as we possibly can get it into the press after we've hand sorted it. And so no skin contact at all, and it's aged sur lie. We stir it using a technique called batonnage every couple of days, which is going to suspend that yeast and give the wine a little bit more flavor and texture.
That is very, very interesting. I can tell it's a Pinot. Pinot I've always found is like the best of both worlds. Best of a white, best of a red. But this is quite good.
We made it for the first time in 2009. I think it was 60 cases and it was gone in 6 weeks. So we knew we had something that was pretty interesting to people, and people are sort of interested and curious about exploring new wines that are off the beaten path to a certain extent. But it's great with food.
And it's just really, really good. Why did you choose the Finger Lakes?
So part of choosing the Finger Lakes is there aren't a lot of places in the world that you can actually start a winery and vineyard if you are not super wealthy. And the Finger Lakes is still affordable. You can still find land for between $4,000 and $10,000 an acre, and if you would think about that in Napa, that would just be bizarre. What I like about the Finger Lakes is if you have a dream and you're willing to work really hard, you really can still make this happen. It's possible to do it.
So most of this property is all built on the limestone bedrock?
The limestone bedrock. This is stuff that was quarried years and years ago. These are all different types of limestone that actually came out during the excavation. Oh. This was actually not a natural terrace. This was part of a road, which we didn't realize until we saw historical pictures. Cayuga and Seneca Lake attached to the Erie Canal, and so you would be able to load barges with the stone and basically move that down the Hudson River out to New York City.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are massive bodies of water, and both of these bodies of water typically do not freeze in the winter. And so during the winter time, that's going to provide you protection from extreme cold swings. That's why you see the greatest concentration of vineyards around Seneca and Cayuga Lake is because of that winter protection that you're getting. It gives us a longer growing season, and it keeps the tender plants safe. Yeah.
So what made you fall in love with Pinot specifically? It was
a Burgundy, and I will never forget the way it smelled, the taste and the chalk and the cherries, and it was just haunting and beautiful. We still love Burgundy. We wish it was a little more affordable. Everybody does.
As does everybody.
But then you start drinking Pinot Noir from all around the world. It's so expressive of where it's grown.
When I first got on this journey, and then I first discovered Pinot, I gravitated towards it because it just was different in each region that it was grown. Now I'm sensitive to it to where, if I have a Pinot from Oregon, I know I'm gonna generally get a lot darker fruit up there. Whereas if I take a wine from, say, Santa Rita Hills in Santa Barbara, I'm gonna get that pomegranate, that like bright red, Christmas spice. I like to say it is definitely a female. It's soft, it's tender, it's romantic, and I know that may sound kind of strange, but that's how I see it.
And I think the other part is knowing how hard you have to work to actually make that happen, but when it works, it's just really beautiful. Hello, welcome to the barrel room. Get some of the 2016 Pinot in your glass.
Awesome. Nice. So tell me a little bit about your barrel program here at Heart and Hands.
The barrel program is pretty straightforward. We have always used exclusively French oak, and all from the Francois Frère cooperage in Burgundy, France. The barrels are really lovely for Pinot Noir. The aromas and flavors don't dominate the Pinot Noir fruit. It really allows the fruit to be the star, and it complements it really nicely.
What kind of oak influence are you getting from the barrels on this particular Pinot?
On this Pinot, it's pretty light. I always get with the Francois Frère this really nice exotic spice. So some of it is cinnamon, some of it is cloves. It just complements the fruit very nicely. And what I like about it is the wood is not the star. of this wine. It is a supporting character in it.
Can you explain to me the origins of the logo?
When we were starting the winery, we asked friends and family for help in naming it, and a lot of people wanted to put our dog on the label, and she's lovely, but we did not want a dog on the label. I woke up with a name in my head one night. The logo is actually the Claddagh symbol, which is a traditional Irish wedding band, and it is a hand between two hearts with a crown on it, and it stands for love, loyalty, and friendship. That's that meaning. It also spoke to how we make our wine. I mean, the fruit is hand-picked. The fruit is hand-sorted. Every single cluster gets inspected. You pull out berries. Hands are involved in making this. It's handcrafted. I know it's a marketing buzzword, but it really, truly, it is. That's how it's done here. It's how it's always been done. We felt that it worked together on a couple of different layers in order to really tell the story of what we're doing and what we're making.
Thank you very much, and cheers, and best of luck to you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Good, how are you?
Here.
I will go with the red raspberry sangria slushy.
You want the ice cream in it?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
I've never heard of wine-infused treats like this, but it combines two of my favorite things in life, and that's wine and ice cream.
There you go.
Oh my God, wow.
Enjoy.
Thank you very, very much.
Know how you like it.
I will. I'm gonna do it right now, actually.
First you'll taste the sweetness of the ice cream, and then wine will kind of kick it. Yeah.
Wow, I can tell there's probably some Cab Franc in this. Definitely. Wow. Wow, that's pretty good. Wow, that is really good. This is great.
Enjoy it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Quite tasty. What I learned here in the Finger Lakes is that it is a breeding ground for dreamers. With a really good business model and modest savings, you can make a career out of wine here. It's just become a really satisfying venture for anybody who is enchanted by the idea of being an owner of a winery. Even for myself, I hope to someday own and operate a winery and make my little footprint in the wine industry. And we'll see what happens.